Okay. Hey, how's it going, guys?
How's this setup look?
It looks great.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Looks great.
Good. That's what we're working with. I might have to like move the laptop at one point. He has like this big roll of leather on the ground that I show, so I'll move it and then just bring it back. But if this looks good, this will be our setup.
Okay, great, great. It looked like we already have some people trickling in. So
it's exciting. It's good to hear. Centauria here. Hey, Centauria. Okay, so I guess we got people here. We're rolling. Okay.
Yeah, we already rolling. All right. You know, I really wish we could have done this in person, but I think it would have been a lot of fun. But gotta be able to pivot.
We're gonna make it happen. We gonna make it happen. Be patient.
Mr. John.
I am. I'm thrilled to even try to even do it because, like I said, it's a warm up for another event, and give me the opportunity to get ready.
Oh yes.
Centauria Johnson says hi.
Hey, Centauria.
Or Tori.
Big Tori. Big Tori. Centauria.
And Tori's on our board now?
Probably.
Board of directors just recently.
You know what?
Well,
Just sat down and had the opportunity to meet all the directors there together.
That would be nice. We should do that.
I wanted to. Me and the cabinet spoke about it.
Get everyone together.
Yeah, to meet for
see, I forgot to turn this off.
I made it here for my mom. Right?
Oh, you did? Well, I guess it makes sense then. The message on that.
I had I needed to pedal for someone, but we ain't got it from it because they never gave it back.
Just kept it for yourself.
No, I actually had it in the car, and you know I didn't have that on my head. So I said, look over. Oh, I got that.
I'm gonna snatch that real quick.
I got one. I got the valve and all that, but I made it out of thin leather.
Okay, that's
just
cool.
feels so heavy.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, it's like a thinner one. That looks nice.
Yeah.
That's why I'm with like I make the wood burn coasters is one of the things I do. I use those coasters all the time for myself. I'm gonna use them until I sell them. Show off some of this stuff while people are waiting.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Welcome in, everybody.
Just gonna show off some of your stuff.
Welcome in. Just talking to some of the coworkers that are trying to join. So has everybody been staying cool from the heat? I actually was outside a little bit earlier, and it wasn't too bad. I don't know, but I'm waiting for the fall. It's my favorite time of year. So yeah.
Yeah. Cool it down.
I have a good day today, Chris.
Yeah.
I came up. I went to, I here on Fulton. I'm at on Thornton Road.
Mhm.
And the leather company, 'cause I want to pick up some leather and stuff. And when
Oh,
we were on the way back,
Traffic.
traffic, tickets, fleas.
oh man.
And I ain't got no air conditioning in my truck.
Rough part. I didn't know that.
Ooh, I caught it.
Yeah.
I caught it.
I don't know about you. I like fall because I'm a big sports fan. And October is, I don't know if like some people realize this, but October is the only month where like all the sports come together at the same time. So like you got like the MLB playoffs, you got football, basketball starting back up. And so like I got something to watch every night. And it's just like it's heaven for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I was missing when basketball went on.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't find nothing.
Yeah. And the Hawks are doing good this year.
Oh
I
yeah.
said,
I was satisfied.
yeah.
We didn't win the championship, but I still was satisfied.
Yeah, they did better than I thought they would be. So it's all good. Yeah, I definitely agree, Javon. I'm waiting for fall 2 and Centauria. Yep, this pandemic, like I said, we can't wait till we able to get together again too. I think, John, have we ever been in the same room at the same time?
No
At
way.
all? I don't think so. Yeah. So, and it's that those type of opportunities, like, man, you kind of definitely take for granted when you have to do everything over a screen.
You get to meet a lot of our other staff today. We had a few people here like Ray Lynn, Christina,
Mhm.
Shauna. So you got to meet some of them at least.
Yeah, I did. I really enjoyed them though. I enjoyed them, man. We had a few moments together.
All right, yeah. So
When all this over with, so we can connect too.
Mm.
It's something I really enjoy doing.
yeah, it's also it's interesting to learn how tall people are because it's random. But look, I never tell you. First time I met Matt, I did not know Matt was that tall. I'm not very tall for what it's worth either. So, but just like it's funny seeing how tall people are.
Funny story. Claire, our executive director, convinced me she's short, like me. She convinced me she's like 6 feet tall. And I thought she was being sincere for a good 3 months until I finally met her in person. Like, oh, you're also like 5'2". So.
Did she put that persona out there like that?
She convinced her.
Yeah, she was just like, yeah, I'm 6 feet. Yep.
Yeah, I think for the most part, I've seen all the staff except for the people that just came on, in the last couple months. But I think I've met everybody. Claire was the last person I did meet. I did not run into Claire until like late June or something like that. I was like, oh snap, it's good to finally see you in person.
But much as I come to the office, and I just see her more over at the other office.
Oh, okay.
I come down to this office, I very rarely see Clara myself. If she here when I come, she normally got that dope clothes.
She got a lot going on.
So she got something going on, you know what I'm saying? So you don't get chill, you catch your pass.
Hopefully I'll have more opportunities.
Yeah. But she'll make sure she pop out though before any of us leave. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope and then you'll get the opportunity to meet some more of the Exoneree. I'm thinking it's 2 or 3. I know it's 2
What that you?
that he hadn't met. I don't think.
Oh yeah, it's got to be a few of them that.
Yeah, it's a good. I mean, like I said, everybody.
COVID.
I haven't been in the same room with anybody actually. I've only met everybody over like Zoom or something like that. So yeah. Can't wait.
Yeah, cool, man. Everybody good, all of them good. You know what I'm saying? They really seem to accept each other pretty good.
Right.
I guess everybody done been through the same thing, so
Exactly.
you can understand another person more.
All right, well, it's 6 o'clock. I'm gonna give it like a minute or two so we get some more people in here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. See if maybe hopefully people aren't beating the traffic, aren't dealing with traffic too bad. They probably are. So. Let's see. So, turn that off. All right.
Thanks for doing this, John and GIP.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Okay. Give it another minute, then I'll get started.
We gonna do this.
Yeah, we are.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
What is this? Oh, Centauria says, did you make her motorcycle chic wallet keychain? She says she wants a motorcycle chic. I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to talk with Tori about this one.
We have to.
Oh, motorcycle chick.
Oh yeah. I'm sure we can. I'm pretty sure. We can design it. We can pretty much make it.
And it sounds like we can make that work. We'll give you his email at the end of this session, actually, for any folks who might want a piece from John or something.
All right, great. You guys are ready? I think we're ready to go ahead and get started. All right, awesome. Okay, so welcome everybody to this event with John White, learning some leather craft, and we're excited to have everyone here tonight. My name is Christian Stegall. I'm the Community Engagement Manager and Development Specialist here at GIP. I've been here since October, so my year is coming up. I'm so excited, can't wait for it. I'm also joined here with Michelle Thompson, our Development Manager, and Mike Casalto, our Program Manager, as well as John. And so just to get started, yep, go ahead, everybody wave so you can see who you are. So just to get started, before I turn it over to John, we like to start off our events just to let people know a little bit about GIP, just in case this is your first time, hearing about us or coming to the event. We are so happy to have you. So a little bit about GIP. We were founded in 2002 by two students at Georgia State University School of Law. They were inspired by the story of Georgia's first DNA exoneree, Calvin C. Johnson, as he likes to say, who is a former board member and partner to GIP. You've probably heard of the Innocence Project in New York. We are our own independent organization, but we are connected with other organizations such as the Innocence Project through what is called the Innocence Network. And it's an international network that is made up of about 70 independent innocence organizations. And we all collaborate one another, provide support when needed, and also working on events together. And you'll find out I'll have a shameless plug about that later on at the end of the event. Usually we used to get together in a huge conference every year. Since I've been here since October and my whole job has been here during the pandemic, I haven't had a chance to be a part of that, but I look forward to the day when I can. John has been to one of those in the past, so I'm sure he could talk about it. About our mission is fourfold. We work to free the imprisoned innocent using DNA testing and other methods. And we first do this by providing free legal representation to people convicted of serious crimes that they did not commit, primarily in cases involving post-conviction DNA testing. We also work to prevent future wrongful convictions from happening through education and reform. And we also raise awareness about wrongful convictions and advocate for reform of the criminal legal system. We also assist in connecting freed people with the resources to help rebuild their lives once they are exonerated and freed. And generally, we work for greater accuracy, accountability, and equity in the criminal legal system. Now, just to throw a few numbers at you, studies estimate that about 5% of people in prison are innocent. And this is done by a study that was done in a study a few years ago. But newer state is estimated that it's close to about 7% of people that are innocent. So if you think about Georgia's prison population, which consists of approximately 50,000 people in prison, this means that there's an estimated 2,000 to 3,000 people currently sitting in Georgia's prisons that need our help. And so far, just to tell you about our successes, GIP and Co-Counsel has been responsible for the exoneration and freedom of 10 people who served a combined 200 years in prison for crimes they did not commit. Like I said earlier, there's an estimated about 3,000 people in prison. So with that, we know that there's a vast need for our help and our services here in Georgia alone. So we have to, unfortunately, have strict criteria with the type of cases that we take up. So as it currently stands, we only take cases from Georgia. We used to take on cases from Alabama, but this year we decided to move, and there was a decision in the making, but we've moved out of Alabama and only focused on Georgia cases, so that we can solve the issues here more. There's also the perpetrator's ID generally has to be a key issue, and this means, pretty much we have to. There's always an issue with eyewitness misidentification, and so if that issue is usually a part of most cases, and so we have to use that to kind of tackle some of these cases. As far as some of the cases the type of cases that we do not accept, we don't accept cases in which a person has played any role in the crime. We don't accept cases in which there's an issue in regards to a defense. So examples, if there was an accident, if the person says it was an accident, if there was an issue of self-defense, or if you're talking about sexual assault cases, there's an issue of consent. Or if the person feels like they should have been convicted of a different crime or received a lighter sentence, we don't take up those type of cases as well. And lastly, there's the issue of time. These cases take years to litigate and investigate. We investigate them from the ground up, and it often takes about 3 to 5 years to investigate a case. So usually we ask if there is, 5 or more years left on the prison sentence in a case. And so with that being said, I'm going to, stop my yapping. You guys are not come here to hear from me. And so before I turn it over to John, I will let you know that there will be a part of this event where you can ask questions. So if you could, if you have any questions that come to mind while John is speaking, we just ask that you please use the Q&A button that is found in the center menu at the bottom of your screen. And then once John is complete, we'll start to work to answer those questions. But before I turn over to him, just a little bit about John. John White was exonerated in 2007 after serving more than 22 years for a crime that he did not commit. So without further ado, I will turn it over to John and let him take it over from here.
Hello, everyone. As Christian had mentioned, my name is John. And I'm here today basically to describe a little bit about my work and how I learned my work and how it come together. I take leather, a hide such as this, and turn it into things like this. These key changes. I learned about leather when I was when I got incarcerated. In 1979, I was tried, convicted, and sentenced to life in 60 in prison. When I first got to my first institution, which is Montgomery County, is in South Georgia, they had a merit program. You can, through your work, you earn what they call E-slips. And you can put your E-slip on anything. You can put your E-slip on a detail chain. You can put your E-slip on a day off work. You can, normal thing they had you can use for your E-slip, your insanity. And I used to see these guys working, working in their little hobby shop. It was pretty nice, pretty big hobby shop. And I had always wanted to get in there. And I finally got, saved up enough E-slips to get in the hobby shop. And that's how I became familiar with leather. So it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. The guys, they had these little business they were running. They used to make a lot of pocketbooks, wallets, belts, and they would send them out to different companies, and they would sell them for them. So they needed help, putting these things together, and it was different little things. They used to hire it out to people, and I used to lace. I used to take and do lace work, lacing around the edges of this right here. They have holes in it, and you got a lace that you use. Matter of fact, I have a lace. It's a lace they use that you lace these key changes and different other little things, pocketbooks and stuff they get to use to lace through these holes. But then that's a whole different other step. But and so they taught me how to, different aspects about it, and tooling. You have your different little tools you have to put these designs in there, and different ways of taking and transferring designs. This is what they call a transfer paper, and that's how I got the designs on each one of these things. I would take this here, like the Georgia Nelson Project symbol right here, and I would tape this here onto the wax paper. And I take a good sharp pencil and I trace it off this. And I know a lot of y'all wonder how I get it on the leather. But once I trace it off this, I would take and it'll be on this, and we will wet the leather. We're gonna cut the leather out in the shape we want it. We'll wet the leather, and we'll take this in, we'll put it down on top of this leather, and we'll take that pencil and we'll trace it in. It'll leave that indentation inside in the leather, like these. So what we'll do after we get that indentation in the leather, we keep it damp. So this what they call a swivel knife. You get on it with your swivel knife. You have a piece of granite, such as this I have right here. And you would cut that, you call it cutting it in. You cut all your little designs in. And once you get it cut in, like all the same time, you're keeping your leather wet. And you take this here, what they call a bevel, and you get, it come with, I had to learn this here. I used to draw straight lines, and I used to use my bevel, get familiar with my tool. But you had to just tap down in all those little grooves in order to get that effect. But it's a process, and in the penitentiary, it was a form of me it was relaxing, getting away from, the day-to-day thing of being incarcerated. And got out and still interested in it, so I bought everything I needed, and over the years I still accumulate little tools and things that I need to do certain things with it. But it's been a heart of mine that I, since I've been out, it's also therapy for me. It gives me an opportunity to get away from what might be going on in my life at that point. But that's basically it. It's open up for questions.
Yeah, do you want to show off a few of your pieces? You want to show off your hat too, actually, a little bit? Tell us a little bit about that one.
Well, this is actually my mother's hat. I had made it for her some years ago, and I didn't bring no hat with me, so it was laying over there amongst the other little items I had, so I just stuck it on my head. But each item takes a minute to do. Mm-hmm. I worked on these two belts I have right here for the last almost 2 years. Not saying the thing take me that long to make, is when I do work, I had to feel it. I can't sit down because some of the work is so tedious, and it get to a certain point you ain't got no room, too many room for error. And so I might work mostly when I feel it, and I try to do good work.
You definitely succeed. These things are amazing. Can you tell me a little bit more about like the keychains, how long those take to do?
It may take me 2 days to do one of these keychains.
Oh, okay.
They are 3-dimensional keychains. Each dimension of this keychain is 3 hearts. I have a hard core, I have a hard middle design, then I have a hard outer design. I come up with that design. One year I was trying to figure out something good for my niece for a Christmas present, and she got 2 kids, so I took and cut the heart out, open it up right here, and the pictures of her kids I put in there with a laminate topping over to keep it from getting scratched up. I had one kid on one side and one kid face on the other, and that's how I come up with these heart shaped designs. I make wallets, purses, and I don't have any on hand that I just make up. A lot of these things were made off stuff I had laying around that I didn't have no other use for. I make wallets, pocketbooks, purses. I tell everybody I make a salad if somebody order one. But I really do feel like I can make a salad. My ambition, I want someone to freehand me a portrait of my dad, so I want to do that. But this is it. This is one of my passions.
Absolutely.
Other than come in and other than come talking for the George Jones Project.
Hey.
So we appreciate you definitely sharing your story. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna continue with the Q&A, but it's gonna be ingrained. There was another part of this event, and I don't know how many people actually went out and did this, but I hope some did, because I'm looking forward to doing this. But if you could use the raise your hand feature, if you purchase the crafting kit from Michael's, if you could just raise your hand so I can see how many people. Okay, great. So we have a couple people that definitely that purchased the craft kit. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start working on this, and then Mike, if you would select some of the questions from the Q&A. After I'll give you the go when we can start those Q&A questions, and then you can start asking those questions, John. But to get started, you're going to need just 2 things: this and a pair of scissors to open up the package. Bear with me when you open it up, and I'll give you just a couple seconds if you don't have your scissors to go get them. But when you open them up, you'll see a couple of pieces. You'll see one piece, and I'm gonna actually just turn it down here so you can actually see it better. You have about 3 pieces of suede. And as John told me yesterday, I was like, this isn't real leather, but he's like, suede is a type of leather, so it still counts. So you'll have 3 pieces, the sides, and then this will be the bottom. And then also you're going to have some string, and a needle. And then you're also going to have just some two pieces of larger strings, and this will be what your draw bag will be made out of. All right. And like John was saying, like, he has more official tools to do his work. This is something that you could have gotten from Michael's. It's not as in detailed as what John has. He's a professional, will work with hard tools, so he's gonna have a little bit more harder, more more detailed things to work with. But to get started, you're gonna get your yarn, your string, and it's okay. Just want to let you know, it is okay if your color is different. I learned that these came in different colors when I was purchasing them. So to get started, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your yarn and unravel it. It's the thin part, all right? And then you're gonna thread it once it's unraveled, all right? You're gonna thread it through the needle. like so. Oh, this is not working with me today. Thread it through the needle just a little bit like this. All right. And then at the other end, you're going to tie a knot about 6 inches away from the end. So this is the end. I'm going to tie a knot like right here. Just one little knot, one easy knot like this. So it should look like this. The knot is like right here where my index finger and thumb is, and then that's the end. So this is one end of the string, and then this is the other end of the string with the needle. And then what you're going to proceed to do, once you got that, I'll give you a chance to get that together. Once you have that taken care of, you're going to start to line everything up. All right. So if you look at it, you will see that there are four big holes at the bottom and then many holes on the side. So what we're going to do is that we're going to line this, which is going to be the bottom part of the bag. And once it's all sewn together, we're going to flip it inside out, and you'll see exactly what it's supposed to look like. But you're going to line this up with the bottom here, and it should align right in the middle. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it's going to align right in the middle. And there are going to be about like 2 holes on each side, like that. Okay. And then you're going to take the other one and just line it up on top. So really, it should kind of look like a sandwich, so to speak. It's going to be like this. And once you get started, it will make a lot more sense as to how it's supposed to go. All right, so once we get started, and then after I show you this step, we'll turn it back over to Mike and John so they can talk a little bit more and answer some of those questions. All right, so to get started, we're going to take our needle and we're just going to start at the top. At the top, closer to where the bigger holes are. And then we're just going to go inside one, like this. And then so where you see, that's why we tie that knot. So inside one, and then outside. I mean, inside, then outside, through the very next hole. Okay. Inside, outside. And then what you're going to do is you're going to keep going in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, all the way around the bottom with this piece on the inside. So when you get down to the bottom, it should, you're going to go inside out on the bottom, inside out, inside out, inside out, until you get to the other side. And then once we get to the other side, I will tell you what the next steps will be. All right, so just inside out until you get to the other side. All right, so that's it for me. I'll just be here in the background. If you still have any questions, just add it for questions for me per se, just drop it in the chat and I'll respond to you there. I can multitask. So Mike, John, y'all want to start answering some of those questions?
Yeah, we're good to go. I don't know if you saw it, but I got a little mini lesson myself. Looks like John's going to be working on some threading while we're answering questions for one of his keychains. So kind of works with the project y'all are working on too.
Okay, great.
But John, I'll let you kind of get set up. We can go ahead and start with our first question here. It's actually from Bliss, one of our staff members here at GIP. She's wondering, what's the first thing you learned how to make? And then what's your favorite thing to make?
I think the first thing I learned how to make was a keychain.
Okay. So one of these?
No, it wasn't in that design.
Okay, simple.
No, we a keychain, just a flat, long keychain like this right here. With it, with it all on it like this. That's a regular keychain.
Nice, okay. And you learned that while you're in prison? That's just the first thing that you learned? Okay. What's your favorite thing to make?
A keychain.
A keychain? Okay.
But anything
Why?
that don't have no detail on it.
Okay, keep it simple.
Yeah.
Like one of these keychains is one of your favorites to make now? Or is it still one of those simple kind of?
One was simple one.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Okay. And so when did you learn how to make the belts? That's my question, actually.
Well,
Right down the line.
as time went on, you know, and we was making these keychains. The belts, when the design of the keychain we were making, like I said, they was flat, they were long, they wasn't too much to them. And the design of the belt was basically the same thing. So they had stamp tools. I don't have no stamp tool with me because I barely do any kind of stamp work. I do everything I do is mostly hand tools. I even cut my own scraps out, hand tools. But then they had stamp tools, and I would do painting, lacing, anything that, you know, like I said, they were doing a lot of bulk work, and they needed help doing certain aspects of the work. And I learned how to, you know, make a belt with just a regular plain belt with just nothing too much on it but a name.
Okay. That's simple. So we're going to stick with a little bit of the leatherworking questions here. Someone was asking, is leatherworking your primary source of income, or is it just a hobby? And how much time do you spend on leatherworking?
It's a hobby.
It's a hobby. Yeah.
It's a hobby. It's not my primary occupation. I do a little work here and there, you know, handyman type work. But when I feel it, you know, if I got a project to do and I feel it, I'll sit down and do it. And at some point, I like to call it a little art because it takes me being mentally into it.
Kind of have to have the inspiration, the drive for it.
Right.
That makes sense. That's awesome. And so a similar question then. So you said you don't spend too much time on it, just kind of like as it comes up.
Right.
Okay. So we have another question about your work. Brittany here says that she's very impressed by your work. Do you have an online or storefront business? And if so, can I put in a custom order?
I hadn't set up no kind of online account, any kind of advertisement. But we do have a website, not a website, but an email address.
Exactly.
And I'm in the process of getting some things set up so I can expand my work.
So if y'all want to, y'all can go ahead and, you know, drop that in now. Actually, I know we were going to wait towards the end, but you know, feel free to go ahead and drop that in, because it seems like a lot of people are interested, which is great.
Well, that would be great. And I'll go ahead and flag to everyone. I think Michelle just added that to our chat for everyone. I think, Michelle, you might shift that to where it's available to attendees and panelists, if you could.
Yeah, that would probably be helpful. I'll do that right now. I'm busy making my bag.
Oh, so you're doing the activity too. Okay, that's fair. Good excuse. No, I appreciate it, Michelle. It's awesome. I see it here. Michelle's about to drop that in the chat. We're going to have just right now, like John said, he doesn't have an online store or anything. We're looking into things like Etsy, maybe for the future. But for now, you can just send John an email if you're interested in any of the pieces you see here or any kind of custom orders. He can kind of chat with you over email about what that would look like. Awesome, and that is there now. Thank you so much, Michelle. So anyone who's interested, feel free to shoot him an email. You can also shoot me an email, mike@georgiainnocenceproject.org, and I'd be happy to get you connected as well. Awesome. Okay. And so as it says in the chat box, I do just want to flag, right? Like these pieces, as you were saying, John, they take a long time. You know, it can be really invested effort. So just keeping that in mind when you're chatting with him. If you want a piece from him, feel free to have that conversation and you can figure out a timeline and things like that for you. Yep.
I would like to show where I am right now. As you can see, I'm towards the bottom of the bag. And I'm at the point where I am sewing together. I don't know if you're at that point yet. It's fine if not, but I am sewing together the one side. This will be like the part that dangles down, and then this is the other side. But then yeah, you're gonna sew these three together as you go along the bottom. So
it's looking good, Christian.
Thank you.
I'm going to pass it back over to you in a second, John. Just one thing I want to flag is that Megan actually added a message here saying that your stuff's amazing. She's bought several things from you before, and they've all been really, really good, functional, and durable products. And so this is kind of one of the things that he's actually made for GIP, one of these little wallets. As you can see, it's so detailed. He's actually made binders that look a lot like this, just a lot larger, that I think Megan actually purchased. So I just wanted to give that shout out for you as well.
Thank you, Megan.
Okay, so let's see. We got some more questions here for you. Let's look. So back to your case a little bit. Someone wants to ask, what did they accuse you of?
They accused me of rape, robbery, aggravated assault, and burglary.
Mm-hmm. You got convicted of all of that too?
I got life and 60 years for that. Life and 60 years for that.
And so maybe this is a follow-up question. What were the facts that were used to fight your trial and exonerate you? How did you get exonerated? Just from your from your experience.
How I got exonerated was the Georgia Innocence Project formed an organization, and it was an intern. It was an intern that was with the Georgia Innocence Project back then, and his name is Cliff Williams, and he was diligent in trying to find some evidence that he felt that was there, and he found it was a hair that they had placed in a file, not knowingly, after the trial was over with, and they had threw away everything that was left, and they didn't know they left that slide in the file, and he found it. Mm-hmm. He found it. That's how I got his on. And that's when I love the Innocence Project so much.
Well, I'm really glad we could help, and that's something that is a problem, I think, in a lot of our clients' cases, right? Is that the evidence preservation or the lack thereof. And so in this case, someone was lucky enough, an intern came in, was lucky enough to find some little bit of evidence that was left in his case in some DA files. So yeah, really, really, really glad that we were able to do that for you. Yeah. So let's see, did GIP help exonerate John? Yep, we did. We were the ones that exonerated him in his case. So I'll answer that question. GIP was founded back in 2002. I think Christian was mentioning it was actually a couple of, I believe, law students from Emory Law, if I'm correct. Georgia State, sorry. It was Georgia State. And so it was a couple of law students from there that founded the project. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, another question for you, John. Did leatherworking help you cope with the tragedy of being wrongfully convicted? And how did it help, if it did?
It was an avenue. It was an avenue, it was something to do. At the old time I was doing it, like I said, it gives you something that you can, while you're doing it, you can let your mind go, I guess, outside the wall. Reminiscing, it was an avenue.
So John, I actually got a question for you. Like I said, when I was speaking, I've seen pictures of you at like some of those conferences in the past. Like, what are some of your greatest memories from those? Especially like your first one that you went to.
Conference. We went to San Francisco, and we stayed at the top of the mall. It's a famous hotel that sits on top of the hill. Mm-hmm. And when we was incarcerated, you used to see that San Francisco Stadium, and you used to see where I was sitting on the bay and all that fog and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And over here, and I woke up that morning, you couldn't see nothing down there. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It was just, I was amazed by how the fog had covered up everything. And I also was amazed by how you get tired walking down here. But overall, I enjoyed myself. We did a bit of traveling out there, and we went to one of the law schools out there. I can't think of a name now, but it was great.
Was it astonishing to see like that many people had been through something similar to what you had been through? Like when you met other exonerees? I don't know if you met, how many you met, but I just imagine from what I've seen in the pictures, there were a lot of, exonerees that are there.
It felt good being able to be around a lot of people like that you could connect with. Right. People that kind of understood what you had been through and just understood you as a person, that wouldn't look at you strange by something you might say or or something like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, one of the select few that have been through something like that. So I'm sure it was, touching just to see other people who had gone through that and could share like words of wisdom and just help, in any way possible.
But most I would go on to say at least 90% of the guys that have been incarcerated that done did an X amount of years, they come out mentally messed up or either institutionalized or something like that. And some of the things that you may do on a daily basis, a whole lot of people look at it being strange.
Right.
And that, just like here, in our organization, being able to connect every month and especially when we were doing it physically, it helps. You have to express some of the things that you maybe done been faced with that you had never been faced with before.
Right.
To express that someone that understands,
Right. Yeah. So just to update everybody, I don't know where you are, but I just finished towards the other side. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to pretty much just go right back through. It should be a little bit easier since you have a path now. If yours looks like this, and what you're going to do is you're going to go in the back over through the in the same holes and just go up and under again and just keep going. So like this, then go under, and you're going to go under through the same. I know it's kind of hard to see because of the light, but you're just going to keep going back through and retrace your steps pretty much. So a little bit tug and pull, but yeah, it should be a little bit strengthened. And then you're going to keep going and doing the same thing all the way back around. And then once we get to the other end, I'll show you what the next step will be, which pretty much for the most part, you're done. All you're going to have to do is like flip it inside out and it'll be a pouch. We just have to add the strings. So come together. Yeah. So
John, I got some more questions for you here. First one, how did your sentence affect you mentally, knowing you'd be away from your family for so many years? That's a tough one.
From the beginning, I often wonder why me, you know what I'm saying? And and it hurt, but it hurt. I guess I was touched one day and that, I guess that why not me thing hit me. And it just came, I just realized it had to be a reason for me being there. I used to read my Bible and everybody's life predestined, right? So it was a reason for me being there, and I learned that early. And I think it helped me throughout my journey. I adapted, I just, with the grace of God, I did it.
That's really that resilience too, it's like only lessons you get out of life are the ones that you make for yourself, right? And it sounds like you took that bad situation and did the best you could. Right?
I did. I ran into some difficult things. I ran into some difficult situations that I learned from. My greatest lesson was when I went through the Jackson Diagnostic Classification Center. That's where everybody go to get your shots and everything.
Okay.
And I was faced with a young guy. Looked like he was right out of high school. He all in my face. And at that moment, I had to humble myself.
yeah. So
at that moment, I was a young guy. And I'm not raising it just emphasize, he was a white guy. All in my face telling me, what, this and that. And like I said, I had to humble myself. And I guess it was God's grace that he gave me that humbleness. And I think it served me throughout my time in incarceration. I really do.
I'm so sorry what you went through. I'm just glad that you were able to push through it and do what you can for yourself.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you here too, because you always you remind me of one of my uncles. Keep me happy, keep me laughing. It's always good to see your face, man.
Yeah.
And like I said, when we get this chance, I know some fishing holes down there. I know some fishing holes down there. So
Everything I went through though, it was a blessing. It truly was. When I tell people this day that if I don't go through none of the things I go through, I never meet any other people that I done met, in my life, that God done put in my life since then. But he had put these people in my life long before I was even released. So I can only be grateful.
In spite of all and everything you've been through, we're grateful that we get to know you too, Okay, let's change the pace here, John. Let's see if we can find someone else. What was your first meal that you had when you were released? Do you remember that?
I had me some fried green tomatoes.
Fried green tomatoes, okay.
Yeah, you and my daddy get along. I can't stand fried green tomatoes, but hey.
I had wanted two things when I got out. I wanted to see the stars. I wanted to be able to look up straight up in the sky. To see the stars and some fried green tomatoes. I got both of them.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Sure you enjoyed that moment.
I did. I really did. I had a chance because we came up here and we stayed in a hotel. And I got a chance maybe about 2 or 3 in the morning and just go outside and be out there.
Just be free, enjoy it. Right?
It's something I hadn't did in a long time. I hadn't just had that free. And it felt good.
I don't feel like you can feel that free until you're standing out there staring at the stars like that, right? Like that's
Yeah.
really as good as it gets. That's awesome. So back to your case a little bit, we have a question, and I think it's really relevant for your experience, right? Did they ever find the guilty person in this case? And if so, how did that make you feel?
They found the guilty person. Matter of fact, the guilty person was in the same lineup I was in when she picked me out. I later on in my sentence, I was in the same cell with this same person.
Wow.
On into my sentence. And they got him. They picked him up.
And so when did so after you were released, is that when they brought him in?
Yeah.
And how did that make you feel? Do you feel like you had some kind of closure from that or any resolve or no?
It didn't make me feel no kind of way.
Yeah.
He a human being, and I don't got nothing but love for him. I don't hate that man. When I see they picked him up, he did some time because they couldn't prosecute him for the case. They revoked, he was on parole or probation, they revoked it, made him do 3 or 4 years, he got out. And I used to see him around my hometown all the time. And I used to speak to him. And
okay.
To this day I speak to him. I don't,
don't hold no ill will.
No, I don't do that.
Make your peace. Yeah.
No, it's saying here that hatred and all that stuff there, and then it don't do to hold you back. And when I got out of penitentiary, I didn't have no time to be hating nobody and wasting time on that wasted energy. I didn't have that. And, I have a strange encounter. A lot of people think would be kind of strange. This guy, like I said, he stayed in the same hometown I stay in, and I used to speak to him all the time. And he used to greet me. He used to speak back and stuff. And so all of a sudden he stopped acknowledging my greeting. And I used to wonder, I used to wonder to myself, I wonder why he don't acknowledge my greeting no more. And so God kept tugging on my heart, something that kept tugging on my heart, say, maybe you should ask him. Maybe you should stop and just ask him. He's telling him that you don't hate him. So I seen him in the store one day and something hit me like, go on and do it. So I walked out the store, I wasn't gonna do it. So when I walked out, he came out and we parked beside each other at the gas pump. So, It hit me, go and do it. So I like, man, listen. I said, your name, Bub. They call him Bub. I said, Bub, I don't hate you, man. I say, man, I said, you did what only a human being would have did back then. I told me, I wouldn't have got up when that lady picked me out that lineup. I wouldn't have went to hollering, yeah, I'm the one, pick me. I wouldn't have did that. I said, you did what any human being would have did, folks. And once I told that man that, I seen an expression change on his face. And it felt good. It felt good. It felt good because, you know, he did what anybody would have did. You know, and with one perfect man walked this earth, and that was Jesus Christ.
I feel like most people wouldn't, I don't know. Most people wouldn't have that humility.
Ain't no way, if they had to pick that man out in that lineup, it wasn't no way in the world I would, if I had to did that crime, I wouldn't have jumped up and down and said, no, he didn't do it. I wouldn't have did that. So he did what anybody would have did. But you know, hey.
But I feel like it also takes a lot for you to hold that perspective, right? Being the person that went through so much. So I just have a lot of respect for you.
Yeah, I can, you know, even the lady, you know, I couldn't do that. You know, she made a mistake.
Yeah.
She made a great mistake.
Sorry to jump in, but so I don't know if I'm going too fast. I'm sorry, y'all, but I just had the rhythm. So if you've made it to the other end, once you get to the other end and you have gone completely through it, what you need to do next is just simply tie this off like this, right? Once you tie it, and once it is tied, all you have to do is cut the strings to shorten it. Give me a second. Ooh. Cut the strings to shorten it.
Don't cut it.
Like that. And so this is what happens. Once you have this and it's all sewn together, all you got to do is flip it inside out.
Oh man, moment of truth.
Yeah, I know. Let's see what happens. Put everything together. Bada bing.
So now when you start your leatherworking empire, John, you have a lot of people who can help you do it.
Oh, that got the prism on it too. Yeah, okay.
So yeah. So then it just come out looking like this.
Okay.
Drawstring.
You gotta add the drawstring.
Yep. So the last step is to add in the drawstrings. And so there's a couple ways you can do this, but I'm gonna do it the easiest way. It just makes sense to me. So what you're gonna do is there are 4 holes, right? There are 2 that are closer. I'm sorry, it's hard. There are 2 that it's the light. I just don't want to be in the dark. There are 2 that are closer to the seam, right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the string. You don't have to cut anything here. Take the string, go with it, put it in the hole closest to the seam, and then you're pretty much just gonna go in and out on each. On each one. I'll just show you. So go in, go out, right? Go in again on the next one. Right. Go out.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you're going to go around the side, go in. And then on the very next one, go out. Then go in again. Then finally go out. So, and then I would just pull them together to make sure they're even. Well, pull the strings together to make sure like they're even once it's all together. So give me a second. Oh, wrong way. All right, there we go. There we go. So yeah, once it's, you see how it's throughout the whole thing and it's even at the top. So now what we're gonna do, once you have that all together, you're going to take the other string. If you bought it from Michael's, it should have came with 2 strings, 2 drawstrings. And then what you're actually going to do is you're going to take the other drawstring and you're going to start it with the other seam, at the other seam where it's like already in, right? So, and you're going to just follow it through the hole and do the same thing, but go the reverse direction. So like I put it in on this side, right? John. And then, so go in, you see how it is on the other side? Then go out. It's a little bit tougher because you're going through where there's already another string, but it still should work. And then you're going to keep going in. Oh man, this is the tougher part. Go in, then out again. And the thing about this, make sure when you're going in and out that you're going in and out with the right one. It's sometimes hard to get confused. So like when I got to the other side, you see how this one, these are the 2 that I put in the first time. So now I'm going to loop it around and make sure I have the right string. Sometimes you get lost. All right. And so now the other side will look like the first side. So I'll go in, then out again. There we go. All right, and then go in again. Then finally, once you get to the other side, go out. So it's tugging with me. There we go. All right. And then you also want to do the same thing with this one. Luckily, I kind of came close to actually making it even. So once you're done, you have your drawback. You can straighten up the strings so they can look more even, but pretty much what it should do is you should be able to like that.
All right.
So once you can cut these to make them shorter. You can tie them. You can add things to them. You can add ribbons, bows, whatever you want. I'm gonna leave that up to the creators that I know we have here. So yeah, the cool thing about this is what like John showed you, you can personalize it how you want to. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it. You know, you can put your own flavor and touch on it, but you can use it for a lot of things. Michelle came up with a good idea yesterday and saying like, hey, you can use it for like doggy treats when you go on a walk, you know, but it's pretty cool. You can, you know, tie it together and you can like have it as a satchel and it just, damn. So
cool. Yeah. Okay, that's actually really, really cool.
So yeah, it's a lot of good uses for this thing, and it's pretty cool. It's durable. See, it's pretty durable, which is also good. It's good. It's good suede. It's good material. So, so yeah.
Real quick, I guess we have maybe 1 or 2 more questions we could answer. Does that sound good, Christian?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, so a couple more for you, John. Oh, this one's kind of based on what you're just talking about, but did you know, did the person who was actually guilty of the crime, did he know that you were in there for the crime he committed? Like, did he know the whole time?
Yeah, he knew.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, he knew. He knew. Hey man, I can tell you some strange things about me and that guy.
Yeah.
I
Right.
said, "Man,
Small world.
I'm just gonna give y'all this name. I ain't gonna even say anything else. This guy was at the same institution I was in. This guy had a Bible. He got put in isolation, and some type of way he flooded the cell out. So when they went in there and got all this stuff, what they do is when somebody floods your cell out, they take everything out of there and they throw it in a bucket and they send it to the laundry room. You done lost all your stuff, whatever. But anyhow, at that time, I was working in the laundry room. Wouldn't you know that I had always wanted an American Standard Bible, something that I can read and comprehend real good. This particular day, I didn't know that was that man's Bible. I got that Bible out this wet bucket. I dried it out, and I kept that Bible. He had took a magic marker and marked on the side of it because his name was on there. Whoever signed it to him put his name on it. He had marked that name out. I kept that Bible with me till I got out the penitentiary. So that marking had started to wear off. So one day, my friend said, Wayne, they called me Wayne, said, Wayne, do you know this guy right here? So she showed me the name on the Bible. It doesn't matter the name, all that don't come up, I can plainly see the name. It said Parham. That was that guy's name, that was his Bible.
And you didn't even know?
I didn't even know it was his Bible.
What?
I kept that Bible till I got out. I gave that Bible back to his sister.
What?
And asked her would she please give it back to her.
Way too many.
Well, you know, sometimes, you know, my life, I got a crazy life, man. I got a simple life though. I don't tie myself down with too many difficult and complicated things because I don't like stress. Yeah. But
it finds you, huh?
I done had an amazing life. I really have, you know. And I never know. I would change nothing in the world. I would. But I wouldn't change.
Well, then we have one last question, I think, here, maybe one or two. This one's from Tori. So Tori actually has several students from her class at GSU here today. And I guess they're covering your case in more detail whenever they start talking about eyewitness misidentification in their class. But Tori was asking and saying that these are the students who will probably be our future judges, our prosecutors, law enforcement, etc. So what kind of advice would you give to these students as they start their careers in the criminal legal system? What kind of advice? Everyone asks you that question, huh? You guys give good answers.
Don't become corrupt. Hey, that's all I can say. Don't become corrupt.
That's great advice.
Hey, don't become corrupt, man. You know, you'll be led the way you should go, but just don't become corrupt.
Stand out.
I think that's advice we all can live by.
Don't get caught up in the system.
Yeah.
So let's see. The last question, though, that I do have here is one about your keychains. Could you show them the edge of the keychains better? They want to know how it ends so cleanly. You're kind of showing me that earlier too.
Okay, that's a good question, Colin. I was showing him.
You were just showing me that, yeah.
I make him show you a point where I started at on this one. Can you see? Okay. Okay, right here. Right there is where I ended it at. I don't know if you can see that.
I can't even tell.
It's a tail right there where I cut it. Okay, we're gonna go back to this one. This is where I started at. I was telling Mike, I took the needle out of it. Okay. Like I was telling Mike, this is gonna come out of here and they're gonna leave a loop, an open loop right there. This gonna be tucked. This, can you see that little tail?
There you go. That's a good angle.
Okay. And this gonna be tucked up under there. You'll lace all the way around to here. And when you get to there, you looping up through here. This needle gonna come up through here and it all ties in right here. Okay. And when it's all said and done, this line, it's gonna go back down in there too. But it'll go back down, when you tie it off, you'll slide it in there and it covers it, it seals it.
Uh-huh.
It's
all a process. It braids right back into the beginning.
It braids it right back into the beginning.
That's really awesome.
It's all a process. this what we did, like Mike was, Christian was doing earlier. He did the similar stitch that we did, but he did it on the
Pouch.
yeah, the powder. But this is a similar stitch to that down.
There you go.
But it's done with a wax thread instead of a suede.
So you just have your kind of simple threading in and out.
Yeah, simple threading in and out, basically like Christian just did.
That's really cool.
And which it leaves the edges open and everything, but they are glued down real good.
Okay.
But once you wear and the edges start fraying up, they look better.
I'm just gonna give one last shot, just so you can kind of really look at it. Look at the edges here. I'm gonna turn it up so you can kind of see the lighting on it, hopefully. There you go. Turn it all the way around. Finesse, honestly. He's an expert leather worker, like for real. Like these things are amazing. But thank you, Jane. That was a really good question. Okay, so yeah, please go.
I'd like to mention this. If anyone interested in going more in depth and maybe getting a kit and learning the trade, some of the minor craft. Tan and other coming out here in Thornton Road, but then they got one up here on Jimmy Carter Boulevard too. Okay. They both hold leather classes. They have classes. I don't know the details of it or not.
Who was that again?
Tanning Leather Company.
Tanning Leather Company?
Tanning Leather, yeah. Tanning.
Okay. So that'll be here in Atlanta?
Yeah, both of them are here in Atlanta. One up out here on Thornton Road in Austria, and one of them up here on Jimmy Carter Boulevard. What's that called?
I will also say, once things get a little bit better with this pandemic here, and we can kind of do more in-person events. I think that's something that we'd love to do with John, is actually have more of like a hands-on training experience. So keep your eyes out for that as well. But I do think that's all the questions that I have, unless anyone else has any questions or.
I don't know if we answered this question. There was one more question from an anonymous attendee that said, John, did you know that you were in there for the crime you commit, that you were accused of?
The guy committed.
I'm sorry. Correct me if I'm. She said, or he or she said, did he know that you were in there for the crime he committed?
Yeah, I guess when did you realize that the guy that actually committed the crime? When did you realize that he was the one that was in the lineup with you?
I didn't know that man was the actual person until I got out.
Oh, until you got out, okay. And then you pieced it all together.
I didn't know it. I didn't know he was the guy. I didn't. I really did. I was proud.
Yeah.
I really was.
And it's always shocking to me. We actually have like a photo of that lineup and you can see him right there. It's really shocking to see, honestly.
Yeah.
Not even know about it.
He cutting his eyes over there with me like he was looking like in the lineup that we have here. He looking like he wished it here would be over with.
Yeah.
All right. So if there aren't any more questions, once again, I want to thank you, John, for everything, for sharing your story, sharing your craft. We really appreciate it. Just to let everyone know, if you did see something that you would like to purchase from John today, once again, you can submit an order at johnjwhite1959@gmail.com. You can either purchase him and Mike will correspond exactly, if some of those things are for purchase or not. But if you want a special order, also submit those to that email as well. But like I said, once again, please be patient. It's a pandemic out here, and it takes time for things to ship now. If you don't realize that. And then also he's just making them himself, is handcrafted, made with love. So just be patient. They will be filled. And also, if you have any questions that you didn't get asked, feel free to email myself, Christian at georgiainnocence.org, or Mike at georgiainnocence.org, or Michelle at georgiainnocence.org. And then last but not least, also, please, this is a shameless plug. You can follow us on all of our platforms. And I'm gonna drop these here in the chat as well. Right here. You can follow us on Facebook, Georgia Innocence Project, Instagram at GA Innocence, Twitter, GA Innocence, and YouTube at Georgia Innocence Project. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you'll find out a lot about these events and events going forward. most notably wrongful conviction days in October. So there'll be some things for that, including we're doing a combined event with the Innocence Project of Florida called the Freedom Bowl. So that's going to be huge. Look out for that. John actually will be his case will be a part of an exhibition that we're working on, and more details about that will be coming as well. So if you want to find out more about John's story, just stay tuned in to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You'll be up to date on all things GIP. So that's all I have to say. Once again, everybody, thank you for attending. Thank you for coming, and I hope you have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.